another incumbent coming up, who's been around for a little bit now, Lenny Pena.
Good evening, buenas noches, mi gente. How are you? My name is Lenny Pena. I am currently serving my second term on the school committee, and I'm seeking a third. I work for the YMCA. I'm a volunteer, and I work with many youth throughout the city, and I volunteer with many youth programs throughout the city of Lynn. I'm also an employee of the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission, and one of my biggest assets, I believe, is that I'm a bilingual elected official. I get a lot of calls from parents and constituents who really can't understand or speak the language, and all I do is connect the dots. And believe it or not, I get calls for transportation, help with IEP, special education. I even get calls for trees, water, branches, sidewalks. It doesn't matter, I just connect the dots. I love giving back to my community. I'm a lifelong Lynner. I went to the Lynn Public Schools. I have 3 children, and 3 young children now, and I have 3 other older children that went through Lynn Public Schools. And I humbly ask for one of your 6 votes on November 4th. This is my second term. I'm seeking the third. And number 6 on the ballot. Vote Lenny Pena. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. And Lenny is right. You can't call him for anything. When I was the Ward 2 council, I'd have him come down and clear the drains out so there wasn't a flood around Buchanan Bridge. So Lenny is there. We also have tonight with us a candidate for the school committee. She's been working really hard all summer long. Julie Dorsey.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to being here with you guys this evening. Business owners of our town, what a treat. My name is Julie Dorsey. This is my first time running for school committee. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I originally was a director of housing in Boston. I did that for 17 years. And one of the things that we did was we invested in properties from different businesses around Boston. And that's how we provided a lot of the housing. So once I decided to leave that, I wanted to get back to the city of Lynn, where I've been residing for over 31 years. Giving my age a little bit. I brought my house when I was super young, right after I graduated from Lynn Classical, so don't do the math. But I have been a resident here this entire time. I'm part of Ward 7. Thank you for those of you guys who are running from that ward. And I just really wanted to bring entrepreneurship into the schools. Once I got my master's, I decided to go back to school. I'm currently at North Shore, and I'm getting a certificate in entrepreneurship because I believe that that is a tool that we need in the city. I'm currently a teacher for a CTE program in the North Shore. So I have high school students that I'm teaching criminal law, business law, and apparel currently, right now. So it's truly a treat to have students to be an internship to partner with all these businesses around the town. We need the partnership with the schools and the businesses and the homeowners. This is how we could unite our entire city and seeing eye to eye. It's not a separate thing. We're totally a team. And if we treat it that way, along with everybody else who's running, we could have a successful town. So I thank you very, very much. And I give this back. Julie Dorsey, November 4th, and I'm number 4, okay?
Thank you very much, Julie. I think that's it for the school committee. I know you all have to get to the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Gala. So thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. Have a great night, those candidates for school committee. Before we move on to the at-large, I was remiss in calling out a few people from the chamber. First off, our executive director, way to go, Ryan Newhall. Office administrator, Christine Niels. Always volunteering, Pat and Dick Newhall. And if it wasn't for these 4 people, the chamber would not be as successful as it is. So thank you all. We also have 2 of our board members here with us tonight. Jimmy Keeley from K Security. Jimmy's wife also owns Flowers by Lorraine, another member who just made a huge investment in their property on Boston Street. So we need to support these businesses so that they can continue to grow. Santiago Aguilar from King Movers. Nobody works harder than this guy. He's such a great addition to the business community in Lynn, and we're very lucky to have him. Next, we're going to move on to the councilors at large so they can get on with their 7 o'clock Zoom meeting. First off, one of my former colleagues on the council, Councilor at Large, Brian Field.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you to the Greater Lynn Community Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to Rick Starboard, who chairs the Government Affairs Committee. I know Rick's been very active with that particular committee. Thank you, LaCopa, for hosting us here tonight. My name is Brian Field. I'm in my 4th term as a councilor at large for the city of Lynn. I first ran in 2015 and again in 2017 for councilor at large. I was successful in 2017, and I've been serving the city of Lynn along with my colleagues on the council. We have a great team of councilors working for you. I work at a small business here in the city, which is also a member of the chamber. I've been with Solomini Funeral Home for nearly 30 years serving families. So not just in the city, I serve as a counselor, but I think as a funeral director too, it kind of fine-tuned my people skills. How to be attentive, you say you're hardworking, you say you're responsive. In the funeral profession, if you don't respond to a call, you're not going to have a family to serve any longer. So I think that's carried over into my service as a counselor. Rick touched on some of the things that the city's been doing and prioritizing small businesses. I shared at an event just a couple of nights ago a small story about a young lady named Lauren Bateman, who when she came to the city, she owned a small music school in Wakefield, and she was looking for a location in Lynn, and I just happened to see her post on social media back in 2018, and I reached out to her, not knowing who she was and her not knowing who I was, but I got her in touch with Jim Cowdell from EDIC for Lauren. She was able to open her LB Music School on Walnut Street right alongside of Dunkin' Donuts. She had a very successful school there, so successful that she outgrew that location and has moved on. But not only as a brick and mortar business, but her success speaks about what Lynn is. Her success, she started a YouTube channel, and she started teaching guitar lessons on her YouTube. And her wife live here in Lynn. She started a YouTube channel to teach people, the beginners, of how to teach, how to learn guitar. And to be successful, I think, how many people are on social media and think about how many likes they get or views they get, okay? And that's the goal of being a small business owner like her. And if somebody gets 1,000 likes or 1,000 visits, Lauren has built her business up since starting. That just last week she was notified that she had 50 million views. Not just 50, not just 50,000, 50 million views. Those are the types of small businesses here in Lynn that succeed above and beyond. Those are the types of people that we want in the city, that we thrive to work together with. It's the community, it's the private-public partnerships that we create as small businesses, as elected officials, as community members. That's something that I love following her and listening and sharing her story, because those are the success stories. I'm a lifelong Lynn resident. I thank my teachers, I thank my coaches, I thank my fellow co-workers, I thank all of you for helping us get to where we are, and it starts at a foundation. I'm number 5 on the ballot. I'm right at that bottom. I'm the foundation. I ask for one of your 4 votes to continue serving as a councilor at large for the city of Lynn for another term. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Next up, another one of my former colleagues I sat next to for 6 years. One of the most honorable guys you'll ever meet, Councilor at Large, Hong Net.
Well, so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you, the Chair, Thomas and Thomas, for having me here tonight. Hi, good evening. My name is Hong Net. I'm one of your 4 councilors at large, and I love what I do. And tonight I'm here. I'm honored to ask for your support again, and November 4th election. And I love what I do, and so we work really well together in the council, and we've done a lot of things together. And I know I don't speak a lot about myself, but I just want to say I've done a lot for the city. I brought a lot of small businesses to our city. I'm also a small business owner as well, And I feel that it's very important. And also, I chair the Ways and Means Committee in the City Council. That's also very important. That's one of the most important committee in the council. And I help people to bring a lot of money to the city. Like I create one of the largest community event in the Commons. So thousands of people come every year, which is really bring a lot of money to Lynn, and I think that's very important. I will continue to do that, and I'm really happy what I'm doing. I just want to make sure that I want to continue to serve the city the best I can, and I want to advocate for funding to make sure that our city is prosperous and safe for us to live, and funding for public safety, public education, housing, business development, and job creation. That's the most important thing. So I want to make sure that I continue to work with all the colleagues in the council, with you all, with the state delegation, to bring out funding to fund our project, our city. And this is what we do. And I know that we need a lot of things need to be done. So that's why I'm running, and I want to continue to serve one more term. And I will respectfully ask for one of your 4 votes on number 4, number 2 on the ballot. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Hong. Next up, we have a first-time candidate running for council at large, certainly not new to local politics, Gene Fanna.
Hello everyone, I'm Jean-Michael Fana. I'm running for City Council at large. I'm the only challenging candidate this year. When it comes to business, I do think of a couple things, I'm only saying in such limited time, but one is a focus downtown, making sure that we have a cleanly downtown, a place where people feel safe to be able to walk and shop. We have a very walkable area, and I think the more we invest in what's going on here, putting in more resources, really making it a priority, I think that's one of the best ways we can support our businesses. On a larger scale, because this is a business crowd, I do get a little bit of brass tacks. I do think the city has fundamental economic problems. People look at the budget, there are gaps there that don't have any near-term way of closing, and we all kind of know that we need to bring more business into town. When you look at the history of the city of Lynn, it was transportation into the city that let businesses get product in and sell product out. And I think it's going to take trying to find a real growth industry, something that's employing people, likely with Lynn's history of manufacturing, something we're making, working with our hands. And I think we have to be future-oriented. We have a changing industry with AI, robotics, and all these things coming. That we want to make sure we're equipping our kids to be able to service these future industries and to hopefully bring those jobs here to Lynn. So I hope to bring that focus to City Council. I'm Jean-Michael Fana. I am number 3 on the at-large ballot. I appreciate your vote.
Thank you very much. Good luck. And we have another incumbent councilor at large, another Lynn Tech Tiger, recently inducted in the Lynn Tech Hall of Fame, Nicole McLean.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you to the Lynn Chamber for having this event tonight. Thank you to La Copa for the beautiful food. It was delicious. I just had a slice of pizza. I love the pizza here, so thank you for welcoming us. As Drake said, my name is Nicole McLean. I am one of your counselors at large currently, and I'm running for re-election because I feel like leadership should be about service, it should be about equity, and it should be about community connection. I really do support our small businesses every day. I'm in and out of businesses in Lynn. Just recently, I helped save one of our businesses and kept her here on the Ivory Bakery, who is now over on the at the old item building. She was on Eastern Ave for a long time. She was a bakery there, and she was having an issue with her landlord, and she needed to get out of that that basic brick and mortar that she was in. So she wanted to move, and I connected her with EDIC. Jim Cowdell helped her with some funding and also helped her with some resources, and she is now in that building and she's very happy. So these are the types of things that I want to continue to do in our city. I've been speaking with Lucille's, that is also over by the North Shore Community College. That's a wonderful wine shop, and we're thinking of doing something like a small business crawl with her and some other businesses in that area, like Ravenstone and Stephanie's, like taking a little trolley or bus around and having some of the community members, you know, be in that bus and, you know, frequent these and shop in these businesses. So that's a brainchild that myself and another community member are thinking of doing downtown Lynn. We've been pricing trolleys, we've been pricing different types of vehicles so that we can then work with the Lynn Chamber of Commerce and do this great event that will bring customers downtown and to see our beautiful businesses that we have in the city, because we have many. So again, my name is Nicole McLean. I'm a veteran. I'm a lifelong Lynn resident. I was born at Stop and Shop, like probably many of you in this room. Like Rick said, I went to Lynn Tech, and graduated in '98. And I love this city. It's a beautiful city. I love this city, and I believe that Lynn is us, and that we need to continue to provide that support and that dedication to our small businesses that we always provide to our residents. So thank you. Number 1 on the ballot.
Thank you, Councilor McLean. And so you ward councilors, at-large councilors, I think we got you out of here in time to go do your Zooms, right? Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to move on to one of our contested ward races. Longtime Ward Councilor 5, Ward 5, Diana Chakutis, is not running. And so we have a couple of new candidates running this year to replace her. Tough shoes to fill. Diana did a great job. First up is Josh Polonsky, candidate for Council Ward 5.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Thank you as business owners and people that own and operate the business. You've already made the investment in Lynn that we all as candidates, we all as councilors are making every day, that we want all of our residents to make, is the investment in Lynn, because I am born and raised in Lynn. I wouldn't live anywhere else. Lynn is fabulous. Love it. I'm raising 2 children here. My children are in Classical High School and Breed Middle School. I am a product of Lynn Public Schools. I'm proudly endorsed currently by the North Shore Labor Council. I'm also endorsed by Union IBEW 1228. I am seeking your vote to be the next Ward 5 City Councilor. I have worked with youth in the city as a coach for many different sports throughout the years that my kids have been growing up. I was the president of Pine Hill Civic Association for a long time, running all sorts of neighborhood events, using local businesses at our events. It's very important to me that local business succeeds and thrives in the city of Lynn, because with local business, you get a sense of pride. Pride of community turns into clean streets, turns everything positive when you have a sense of pride in your community where you're living. You all are proud business owners. We want our residents to feel the same pride that you do, that I do, and I appreciate any consideration you would give me on November 4th. Please tell your friends. Everybody here knows November 4th is the election. Some of your friends may not know. Some of my neighbors didn't know the primary happened when it did. The more we can pass that message, your voice matters, your vote matters, especially in local elections. If I'm your ward councilor, I'm a phone call away. You can't get in touch with your U.S. congressman by a phone call. You call my phone number, it's not a secretary. I don't have one. That phone call is going to go right to me. I will address the issues with you. We can work together. I know that as business owners, you've got different issues that concern you than what residents have. I am not only willing to work with you, I want to work with you, because we want to keep the businesses in Lynn thriving, because again, it is a wonderful place to be. Thank you all very much. Josh Polonsky.
Thank you, Josh. Good luck. And our other candidate for councilor, running for councilor at Ward 5, is Cardelise Paez. Great to see you here tonight. Oh, Tariq's here. You heard there was pizza.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming out today to learn about your candidates. It's really important, and I'm super excited to have my first run at this. So, my name is Cardelise Paez, or Cardi, and I am a lifelong Lynner. Super excited to have had multiple opportunities within the city of Lynn to grow and develop as a person, but also take those experiences to different places, going to school in California, but also working on economic development work across Latin America. And in my time being here, I've been able to work on other economic development initiatives here in the city of Lynn, and also some affordable housing development, which we all know is very necessary. And now we're here with a whole bunch of business owners, which, hurrah, yeah. I spent some time earlier this week talking to a few constituents, and they had continued mentioning, like, when I was growing up in Lynn, there was a movie theater, you would go to the different shops, there was a whole bunch of mobility. And this, for me, is something that's super important. The city that you live in isn't necessarily the place where you rest your head, it's also the place where you exist with community, where you build experiences, and also having different businesses opportunities and thinking about things like heat resilience. Oftentimes people will go to a mall per se just because it's really hot outside, and we don't really have a lot of those places here in the city where you can call like a cooling center or any of these other things. So really working to make sure that you are all successful. And as a counselor, it's obviously our first line of defense. I've heard a lot of business owners struggling to keep their businesses afloat because of their surrounding communities, be it that there's not enough parking for their customers to come, or be it that there's a whole lot of trash on the streets and it's deterring some of their clientele. So really working together to make sure that the environment in which you are in, that your streets are lighted so people feel safe when it's really dark, that there's coordination with the police department and other sort of necessary things for us to feel comfortable, to feel safe, and to be successful. And yes, thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Cardi. Best of luck. Best of luck to you both. Next up, we have Councilor Ward 7. Candidates for Council Ward 7. As Council President Jay Walsh, who I served under, who I've known since he was a kid, who is going to be a great loss to this city. Jay, for a young guy, has so much institutional knowledge of this city. I always say that Jay's like an old soul, way beyond his years, and he's going to be a big loss. So for whichever of these two gentlemen who comes along to replace him, again, just like replacing Diana, big shoes to fill. So first up, for running as a candidate for Ward 7, Billy Devin.
Thank you, everybody. First of all, I had no idea what an elevator pitch was. I had to go to my phone and look it up. And so, now that I know what it is, I'm the only candidate this year in the city of Lynn that worked with a local artist. I have my own rap song. And it goes something like this, all right? Ward 7, you gotta vote for Devin. Ward 7, you gotta vote for Devin. But you could certainly Google it and listen to the rest of the lyrics. My name is Billy Devin Jr. I have lived in Westland and Ward 7 my entire life. I was fortunate to meet my wife, who also grew up in Ward 7, Westland, and we've been married for over 30 years. We've proudly raised 5 kids in the city. Our kids all attended Lynn Public Schools, and they all played sports. I am a 1982 graduate of Lynn Classical High School. After Classical High School, I went to the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts, which some of you people that are my age, an old guy like me, was formerly North Adams State College. So I got a Bachelor of Arts there, and then later on I got a master's degree in school administration from Salem State University. I served in the Lynn Public School System for 30 years. I retired in 2024. I started out as a teacher. I taught for a long time. And while I was teaching, I was coaching. And then I became the athletic director, which was my dream job at Lynn Classical High School for 17 years. It was a very challenging job, but I will say this. I had the opportunity to mentor thousands of kids. And I wouldn't turn any of those 30 years back, because my job prior to that I worked for 3 years for Charlie Gator, Lynn Housing Authority. I was the youth sports director at Crowan Circle in West Lynn. Why do I want to, everybody's like, oh, you retired in 2024. Why do you want to run for ward councilor? Well, guess what? I have an awful lot of time to give back to the community that I love so dearly, and the community where I raised my kids and that I still live. I want to see us continue to advocate for public safety, school resources, affordable housing. And I'm looking around here and I'm like, this is going to be a wonderful place for me to take my 5 kids and my wife out to eat. This is like an amazing restaurant to support downtown. Constituent services are very important to me. And what Mr. Polanski said, the ward councilors in Lynn are your first step for your residents for government. We're a phone call away, transparency, accessibility. On November 4th, please remember, Ward 7, you gotta vote for Devin. Ward 7, you gotta vote for Devin. Listen to the message he's sending. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Well, with a rap like that, I can see why you didn't get picked for the Super Bowl halftime show. Next up, candidate for Ward 7. Oh, there he is. Another one, been around for quite a while, another Lynn Tech grad, Jordan Avery.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordan Avery. I'm a born and raised Lynner with deep family ties here in our community. I am the only candidate in Ward 7 who happens to be a small business owner that owns 2 small businesses in Ward 7. I might not have a rap song, but when it comes to community engagement, when it comes to working with our small businesses and supporting our small businesses and getting them through the finish line and supporting them and coming to the restaurants where I've came here plenty of times and got to know the owner with amazing food, I've been doing this job for a long time. And I'm grateful to have the support of Jay Walsh, the outgoing city council, and also former Lynn Tech alumni, and also a small business owner in Ward 7. You know, if it's from fires, the volunteering, I've been there in this community doing just exactly that. So I would really appreciate your vote on November 4th, and know I will support small businesses each and every which way as I'm right in it with you during these struggles as we face in this economy today. So thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Jordan. And our other ward contested race, I think we only have one candidate here tonight, is a candidate for Council of Ward 1, Paul Guthrie.
Thank you. One of my overall goals running for the council is to reduce the anxiety in my neighborhood and in the city. And how am I going to do that if I get elected? I'm going to study the issues, I'm going to work the issues, and I'm going to communicate back out to my constituents so that the anxiety level goes down. I'm talking simple things like construction schedules, you know, for the Pickering Middle School going up in Magnolia Park. It's a great story. The foundation base is good. You should start seeing steel being erected December 15th. So right around Christmas, you should start seeing the frame of that new middle school. I want to tell you, I've been a neighborhood guy for 45 years now. My wife and I have raised 4 daughters, and we're now empty nesters. My daughters went to Sisson Pickering English and St. Mary's. And 2 things about that. Raising my daughters through the neighborhood, I learned a lot about the city and a lot about the neighborhood. And also the fact that I'm an empty nester now, I have plenty of time to dedicate to the neighborhood, okay, and to the city council. Also, I'm retired from GE Aerospace after a 40-year career, okay, and 4 years in the military. Okay, so I have the passion, I have the discipline, I have the skill set to take care of issues in my neighborhood and also work with my fellow council members to make this city even better than it is. Okay, I advocate for firefighters, police, teachers, not necessarily in that order. I advocate for small businesses, affordable housing. And that's why I'm running, because I think I can do a much better job. And that's about it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Paul. Good luck. Paul was one of my constituents in Ward 2 until they shifted the lines, and he found himself in Ward Wonderful. So that is it for our contested races, but we do have the rest of the councilors here from the other wards, and I'm sure they'd love to speak too, because they all love to speak. So from now, we'll just go right down the line, and we'll start off with my friend and my replacement, who's doing an unbelievable job. I was happy to support him, and I always will. Councilor Ward 2, Obed Matul.
Thank you, Councilor. Good evening, everybody. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce and La Copa Restaurant for hosting us today. I gotta say, Ward 2 is very well represented today, from Councilor Starbird all the way here. Christine, we'll adopt you, okay? This is the Ward 2 line right here. Thank you, everybody. My name is Obed Matul. I am the sitting Ward 2 City Councilor. Councilor Starbird, I replaced him, and like you've been saying, I have big shoes to fill, so I've been working hard. What have we been doing in Ward 2? One of the things that we started doing when we first started campaigning was go around and ask constituents what they needed, what they wanted to see improved, what changes they wanted us to do, what did they want us to focus. And I gotta say, Public Works was one of the biggest things, as every city councilor and Councilor Starbird and the other councilors that are here know, it's one of the toughest things to get done in the city. Financial issues, manpower issues, all those things affect the city, the way that things get done. But last year we had 22 out of 52 streets paved in Ward 2, which is almost 40% of the paving that took place in the city. We also started the Floating Bridge Pond Association, which we have a couple of board members and a couple members here today. We have been focused on cleaning the floating bridge. We actually have a cleaning Saturday, November 1st. If anyone's free, please come join us. We have been focused on getting traffic up to Cook Street Park, up in the Highlands. We did the first community fiesta last year, and then we did the second year this year. A lot of people didn't know that we had a park up there. When Kinney Park closed last year for the renovation that was happening, a lot of the youth, a lot of the students, they didn't have anywhere to go after school. So when we did the community fiesta up at Cook Street, a lot of people found out that we actually had a park up there. We also have Henry Avenue Playground right close to it. So a lot of traffic, a lot of students, a lot of things that were happening at Kinney Park, when they closed, they moved right up to Cook Street. And what happened? We started seeing that the park, that the garden, everything it's not 100% clean, but it's a lot cleaner than it used to be before. Why? Because we were able to bring traffic up to Cook Street. And I'm looking forward to 2026, 27, 28. We're going to have a lot of work. Western Avenue is going to get reconstructed. Essex Street is going to get reconstructed. So good luck to myself, Councilor Allenson, and Councilor Natasha, because we're going to be getting calls every single day. So thank you again. I'm looking forward to serving my second term. Luckily, I don't have an opponent, but we have still been door knocking. We have still reaching out to people, letting them know that we are here. And to my constituents who are here, because there's a lot of them. I'm just a phone call away. You guys are just 2 blocks away from my house, so come see me. All right? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Councilor Starbird.
Thank you, Councilor. I know a Ward 2 street that didn't get paved. Half of it's in Ward 1. Thank you. Moving right along, Councilor Ward 3, doing an amazing job. Everybody knows him. I don't care what corner of the city you live in. Councilor Coco Allenson.
Thank you, Councilor. Good evening, everyone. I know a lot of you know this. I love photos. I love taking photos. I was actually outside 30 minutes ago on a Zoom call for Aborn School, which is in Ward 3, and I could see you guys having group photo. I said, darn it, I missed it. But I have to prioritize my constituents, so I was in a Zoom call. I'm also lucky that I have no opponent in this election. It's an honor to do this. I never stop, even though we have no opponents, we're always there. But I am successful because of some leaders in the past that mentored me, and one of them is Councilor Rick Starbird. When I was elected, I was the only new candidate in 2021. He actually mentored me and taught me everything, and I still do. All your newsletters, never miss a month because of you. And because of what I learned from you, and then what I learned from Councilor Fred Hogan, who was there for me since day one, I also helped mentor Obed and Pete and Natasha, because at the end of the day, we're all from Lynn, especially we're ward councilors. We are the first line of defense. So if you guys, whoever wins in your wards, rest assured, we will be there for you, because if you will be successful, the whole city of Lynn will be successful. I came to this city, I have no family here. I was not born and raised here, but this is my home now. I came to this country when I was 24. The city was so, it embraced me and my husband. I am the only out LGBT gay counselor in the whole city of Lynn. You guys embraced me, adopted me. This country was amazing for me. I have no hidden agenda. I have no business in the city. What I'm doing now is just to serve Lynn with all of my heart. But at the end of the day, when I retire, although this is my adopted home, my home will always be in the Philippines. So I will go home there with my mom and my husband. There's a house waiting for us there. But while I'm here, I will serve you with all of my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor. And you do serve with all of your heart. Next up, we have the Councilor of Ward 4, who's the newly elected councilor this past term, running unopposed, so that says something for the job she must be doing. And let me just say, no matter where you go, wherever you're cutting a ribbon in what corner of the city, Councilor Meji Madre is always there. So Councilor Ward 4, Natasha Meji Madre.
Hi everybody, my name is Natasha Meji Madri and I am the current Ward 4 City Councilor. And I want to thank the Chamber first of all for having this event. It's so important to know the candidates and know who you're voting for. It's important, and I know that everybody here in this room is going to be voting, but make sure when you go vote, you also bring like 5, 6, 10 friends, however many you can fit in your car. Because it's so important. The voter turnout is terrible. We must do better. And this restaurant, I love this restaurant. I was just here for lunch, and we need to do more supporting local businesses, so please make sure you come to the local businesses and support them. I've been in Lynn for 27 years. I have 4 amazing children and 3 grandkids. My newest grandkid is 2 weeks old, and so the community is very important to me. And no matter where, like whatever event, like Rick said, whatever event's going on, whatever ribbon cutting is going on, I'm there. Because I really care about making sure new businesses feel welcome, because it's so important so that you are, giving back to the community. Like Jose does an amazing job here, and the food here is really good, so please come back. It's so important. Ward 4, we're doing a lot of things. We're going to have a park redone. It's Sagamore Street Park. I know 1 minute is not a really long time, but I definitely want to say that please come out and vote. It's so important to vote on November 4th. And I just also want to say that we're going to be losing Ward 5 Councilor and Ward 7 Councilor, and they did an amazing job, and I wish them the best. And just make sure that you do your research. Look at these candidates and vote for who you think will represent you better. I'm so proud to be the first Afro-Latina elected to the Lynn City Council. We need to do more to represent. It's so important. And a shout out to my fellow councilors. They're great. Whenever I have a question, I ask them, and it's really been great. It's been an amazing job. And thank you to all the candidates. I know it's really hard to run for office, so please do them a favor, knock on doors with them, make a donation. It's so important. Just get involved. And thank you to all the families, to my family especially. I know it's been hard. Please support these candidates. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha. And last but not least, we have the Councilor of Ward 6. This guy I couldn't be more proud of. From his time when I was teaching at Tech, we'd have him do school dances as DJ Freddie, on up through his coaching career, always about the kids and always about Lynn. and coined the phrase, all Lynn. So once again, I couldn't be more proud of the job he's done, especially since he's been elected as Council Ward 6. Fred Hoag.
Thank you. I had the honor of sitting next to Rick, next to him at the city council, and it was truly amazing. But Jose and his wife, we can't say enough about La Copa, and this place is truly amazing. Jose, thank you. Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce, how important is it? Businesses are our backbone. They're the backbone of our city. They help our taxpayers lower their tax rate or not make their tax rate go so high. In Ward 6, we have some of the most biggest businesses in the city. We have GE, we have Wash Cycle on the Linway, who just expanded from 100 and something jobs and expanded to more jobs. Did you know we have a condom factory in Lynn? Yes, we do in Ward 6 on the Linway. It's called Global Protection Corp. It's not a joke, that's serious. It's the one condom company, but they do that, and they're doing it right in Lynn. They moved from Boston to Lynn, but that's 57 jobs, and they're going to expand. But this is what we're talking about, expanding our businesses and making our businesses more to help us, the homeowners. I'm a homeowner. I'm a lifelong Lynner, but I welcome all Lynners. Just because you were born and raised here doesn't mean we don't welcome new people. We welcome new people into our city, and we welcome them the same way as a lifelong Lynner. But I'll tell you, Ward 6 is going under major construction with the CSO project down there. We're coming to the end of it. They're digging into GE right now on Bennett Street. Starting this week, we're doing 20-something streets again, repaved, curb to curb. So that neighborhood that went through a beating for 4 years is now going to be revived in the next couple of months. So that's unbelievable. And I want to give a shout out to my constituents over that area. Pine Hill, every street in Pine Hill, Ward 6, this spring, this summer, got repaved curb to curb. We made a deal with National Grid. National Grid did the middle line to the end, and the DPW and the City of Lynn did the other end. So Ward 6, every street in Pine Hill is repaved, every street in Precinct 4, most of them will be repaved in the next couple of months, so we're really happy about that there. But remember, the businesses, Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce, and everyone in this room tonight understand that we're all here together in Lynn, and we're going to make Lynn a better place, so thank you.
Great job. Anybody have anything else? Ryan, anything you want to add? Ryan did point out that global protection, and it does say that Lynn is the condom capital. They're also members of the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce. So support our members, support this great restaurant downtown, as well as all the others. Councilman McLean was talking about doing a business crawl through the downtown. Earlier in the year, the chamber did. We started out at April's, did a poker pub crawl down here where we walked through the neighborhoods. Rosetti's, Chow, all came back here. It was an awesome night. There's so much going on down here between the restaurants, down in the Black Box. Actually, tonight there's, I think it's comedy night. Down there in the Black Box Theater. There's music down there regularly, so stay in tune and look online and look on Facebook to what's actually going on down here, because there is a lot going on in downtown Lynn. So with that, thank you, all the candidates, all the elected officials that came out tonight. It's such a busy time of the year for all these folks that have to constantly stand up and, or sit down and do these debates one after the other. It was worse than doing nothing. So I appreciate the time that you all took coming down here, talking to our members tonight, and have a great night, everyone. Once again, thank you everyone at La Copa. Awesome job.
All right, good evening, everybody. We're going to be starting our meeting for the Lynn Zoning Board of Appeals tonight, October 21, 7 p.m. If we can have a roll call of the members, please.
Mr. Gilray? Present. Ms. Paez? Absent. Mr. Massey? Absent. Mr. Christopher? Present. Ms. Maggio? Present. Present. Mr. Olson?
Present.
Present. Ms. Crowitz? Absent. Mr. Lopez Hernandez.
Present. All right, we have a quorum. Before we get into tonight's business related to the minutes of the last meeting, are there any edits or any changes for the meeting minutes? If no, then I would entertain a motion to approve. All right, so moved by Member Olson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those have been approved. First order of business is our continued case from a previous meeting, case number 10122, 67 Laurel Street. I know we don't have to do introductions and a reading again since this is a continued case. One key thing is that the members that were present at the previous meeting were 5 members, of which 3 are currently here right now. Have any other 2 members seen the last meeting recording? All right, that's great. So we can attend the case. So please come forward, and I know that we asked for an update and a few changes, so we'd like to hear a little bit about them.
Okay. Let's see, so we redid a parking plan for 67 Laurel, so what we wanted to do was add a new 2-story dwelling behind the existing 2-family dwelling. And we relocated some parking, made some adjustments, so I'll get through it. What we weren't able to do was we wanted to try to move the new dwelling over to 15 feet. But when we decided to do that, we had an issue with the parking. So we thought the parking would be better to go with the parking. We took the parking from against the fence and we brought it over towards the buildings. And this way, I think it was Mr. Poole that said it was 5 feet away from the residence that's at 71 Laurel Street, because that building is like right on the property line. And so after we did that, we have an area at the very back for some snow removal. And then towards the front of the building, we have a barrel corral. And so what that will be is just some 4-foot high fencing, and there'll be shrubs and stuff planted in front of that. And that can hold the barrels before they go out to be picked up in the morning. And then the other area we did was we were talking about pervious and impervious. So pervious area that we had covered is right about 20%. We do know that right now we don't have that on our plot plan, but because of the rush, I called up the surveyor. He gave me that indication that it was 20%. And that we can have that formally stamped by him and corrected after that meeting and put on the site plan. And those were the major changes that we did. And everything else, of course, stays the same. I don't know if everybody's seen the elevations, the front elevations and the floor plans. We have those here as well. But it's mainly all the work that's done to the site plan.
Anything else before we move into questions or comments from the area? Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, you said 20%. Is that the proposed impervious or the existing? Because we need both to compare.
That's the proposed.
Then what is the current?
You can give us the current.
So we're going to need the current as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Okay, for comparison.
Yeah.
Mr. Poole, in terms of the calculations, so for the city to be able to know if the board also has to determine if it has to also determine if the lack of green space is an issue or not that has to be resolved, does that mean that the official plot plan has to already have the calculations so that that determination can happen? All right.
Yeah, certified plot plan. Survey.
Okay.
And that was for the existing impervious area, and then the in the new proposed.
Yeah, so in comparison, we will have a number for the existing condition.
Yeah.
And a number for the proposed condition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Currently, our description for what the board and everybody, the public, has been able to read is that we do not have to take that into consideration.
Sure.
But we don't know if we have to because the regulations aren't there.
Sure.
In terms of the plans, I know that we got some emails. When were these plans shared with the city? I don't have that timestamp either. Was this shared today by any chance?
No, this was last week.
Last week, okay.
Yeah. And really, like I said, the majority of the work was done to the proposed site plan. Not the existing one, the proposed. That's where all the new parking layout is.
So the variance back, you need 15 feet.
Yeah.
You did some jockeying around and got 14.2?
Yeah, that's the best we could do to keep that area in between the two buildings at 9 feet. I think
It's
it's
like
9.
a 10-inch
Yeah.
shot. Yeah. Okay.
Right. 10 inches there.
Yeah. That's pretty close.
So have the footprints changed for like the survey? Has that changed since the September 15th plan?
No, it hasn't changed. The footprint of the new two-story dwelling, is that what you mean? No, that hasn't changed. That's always stayed the same size.
Yeah, you just moved the building.
Yeah, I moved it in, yeah, because before there was more width in front of there, but by looking at the bylaws, it looked like 9 by 18 was your minimum required parking.
Yeah. It's a standard still.
Okay. What else can I say here? That we have 5 spots. I don't know if we were, so we're looking for relief on the last spot if it was 2 spots per unit.
Okay.
And then also too, like I said, is by moving them from against that fence and property line to the other side onto the houses, we added some distance there. And the same thing with the width of the parking is at 20 feet at its narrowest. I mean, for just the parking and the driveway.
How much space on the snow removal side on the?
We're hoping that if it was in the winter that we would take up that whole grassed area that's in the back. So that area that says snow removal there, that's all a grassed area. And that's 4 feet.
4 feet.
Yeah. 4 feet going from towards the front of the house. And then, of course, across the whole thing is 50 feet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So between the rear property line and the edge of the pavement is 4 feet?
Yeah, both 4 feet.
Yeah. Can we just add that dimension on there? Just so.
Yeah, I can do that, sure.
Okay.
And this may will do a formal plot plan. I just want to get this information here and then get it for this meeting to get more feedback.
Any other questions or comments?
It's just, it's hard to determine pre and post impervious.
Sure.
So if the post impervious is greater,
Yeah.
then you may need to get creative on how you manage that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. So the area that's with the barrel crowd, does that have to be, that doesn't have to be paved or anything? It could just have stones, you know what I mean? Where the water could filter maybe in between the stones.
Impervious pavers, whatever.
Yep, yep. We can do that.
You can use an infiltration trench basin. There's different ways of engineering.
Okay. I'll ask him on that.
Yeah. So when you determine that, then you determine the best way to handle it for your client.
Okay. So as far as that goes there, so what is required by the bylaw? Is that up to 30% or is it just depends on the calculation between the both of them?
It's 30% required.
Yeah.
And you have an existing amount.
Yeah.
I want to see what that is. It may be less than 30% already.
Right, right.
And then the proposed, ideally, we don't want to make it worse.
Okay.
So what we want to do is at least try to balance what the current situation compared to proposed. We don't want to make it worse.
Okay.
If you had a bigger lot and with 50%
initially,
yeah, green space, you could add your building and still be within the 30%. We wouldn't be talking about that, right? Because the calculation would show you have at least the 35%.
Yeah, no, that's good information because there could be a couple of other things we could do to maybe get closer to the 30%.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's up to you to get creative, but without the numbers, once you get the numbers, you can figure that out.
No, not a problem. What about the, if it's okay, I'm going to ask a few questions. What about the parking against the buildings? I didn't see anything for a bylaw on that or anything else there.
In section 6, so you can't park in 5 feet of no problem. Can't park in the front yard setback.
5 feet? Say that again, I'm sorry.
So 10 feet from the street, 5 feet from the street.
Yeah.
If you can 5 feet of dwelling in another structure.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the hardship? So why does those easy variance, why the parking needs a variance? Hardship, there's no mention of hardship in the application. Why is it here, why is it hardship? Why is it variance?
This is going to be a separate dwelling for Fernando and his family. That's why they're having this dwelling here. That's why they needed it. Because initially we were thinking about, as I went back and forth with Mr. Poole by email, initially we were thinking about doing just an ADU. But we just don't have the size, for an ADU, meaning it's 900 square feet, it's not enough. We wanted to put in the 3 bedrooms and have a space where they could live there for a long time. Not like in an apartment setting.
There's no representation of the square conditions, shape of the topography of this lot. It's a rectangular lot, more or less flat. One of these has sort of conditions. The question is hardship. What's the hardship? Is that having this size in that location? But you need to So I'm hearing that we need a few things to address in terms of the actual plot plan and calculations shown. I'm hearing that it would be very beneficial to be able to talk to the board about the hardships and why division of the type of building, the amount of bedrooms, why is it a hardship, is it justified or not, and be able to bring that to the board as well. Since we need the calculations in order to know what the board is going to be determining on for the green space, open space provisions of the new zoning code, we would probably have to be moving this to the next one.
That's okay.
So another continuation. So when is the next meeting then?
Because of voting, it's not going to be until November 18th.
November 18th. All right. So that would be the next possible slot.
What would be the time frame on putting all the stuff together? We'd have to do a week before? Or?
A week before the actual meeting taking place.
Okay.
Yeah. So that the members can actually take time, read through it, be able to digest it.
So, just like Ms. Bull was saying, then in that application that we'll write in the hardship, why we, in that part of it, because we said that what. Okay.
And if it can also just, we'll either read it, and if you can make the remarks also through the microphone, it's recorded and it's also on the record.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any thoughts on the dwelling itself? Looks like it's 24 by 30. Reducing that 30-foot dimension slightly to get that 15-foot setback in the back.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too, as I was getting comments back from you guys and girls, is that maybe that happens. To cut out maybe 4 feet of it, make it a little more square, but still able to get decent living space in the bedrooms mainly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a tight site to do this type of project. So.
All right. Anybody else? Any questions? Yep.
Here, sorry, can you just remind me of the nature of the existing dwelling?
Yeah. It's a 2-story.
And it's
a two-family. Sorry, 2-family residential.
There's 3 in the first, and there's currently 2 in the second floor. But there's a permit to build a third bedroom. So 6.
All right. There are no more questions. Thank you very much.
Can I have you sign the waiver?
Yeah.
Have you signed this?
Motion to continue till.
Yes. We will do a motion to continue. I'm seeing none. Anybody here wanting to speak in favor? Seeing here nobody wanting to speak against. I go forward, moving forward to continue the case for the next November 18th meeting.
And you want the plans by November 11th.
Yes,
Right,
a little
okay.
bit before.
This is just agreeing that, you want to continue. You need a pen? Okay.
Do we have a second on that motion?
One second.
All right, Member Maggio seconds.
Thank you.
And if we can
Okay.
have the roll.
Mr. Gilray? Yes to continue. Mr. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes to continue. Ms. Maggio?
Yes, the good.
Yes to continue. Mr. Olson?
Yes to continue.
Yes to continue. And Mr. Lopez Hernandez?
Yes to continue.
Yes to continue.
All right, we'll see you in November.
Thank you.
All right.
Excuse me, sir. You got the email?
Assessment the case so far. We have other business to discuss.
Right, for me.
Attorney Lomana, does this require executive session?
But I can
Any
just
other time?
email it,
No.
okay?
All right, good.
So as you know, this summer, there was a petition filed to allow rental cars to be parked on a vacant property on Federal Street. The board voted to deny that variance. There are two pending lawsuits in Essex Superior Court, one initiated by the city of Lynn, seeking an injunction to have the cars removed. That the court issued an order to have the cars removed in like 30 days. That's come and gone.
Thank you.
But the judge made it very clear that that order could be amended by any court and any judge in the Commonwealth. My brothers filed suit challenging the denial of the zoning board of appeals. So thereafter, the mayor entered into some negotiations that would remand this back, 500 vehicles for 1 year period. My brother wants to add anything. There's some other concessions the city has is working with the developer, trying to develop this land long term.
I think if you recall, we were here in June. One of the large questions was, who are the real owners? If you could answer that question today for the people at Demoulas and the Market Basket, that's a question that they're struggling with right now as to who's in charge. If you recall, and I pointed out at some point, the plan we submitted, the site plan had on it, DSM, Demoulas Supermarkets. So whether it's a new manager or a new president or whatever, there's certainly been a commitment on behalf of the corporation, as my brother has said, to actively market the property with respect to the time period between, to allow the continued uses, which were not only the parking of vehicles as a commercial enterprise, but the carnivals that have gone on, the parking for the fire department. And we're heading into a season when they're going to use the toll line. And so an agreement was reached, and we have a document called a Memorandum of Understanding. Why we're here before you is to bring you up to date, but also I think my brother and I have talked about, even though the court has ordered it back to the Board of Appeals, I think the question is whether the Board of Appeals wants to, in fact, advertise again and have a hearing at your next meeting, because I think we can make that.
That would be my recommendation. There is one neighbor since that's the vote to deny who's been in contact with the city and expressed some frustration with the current. But there is a limit of 500 cars, which is much lower than what was there beforehand. It is limited in duration for 1 year. As you know, there's no use variances, so it's not a situation where they can come back in 2026 and ask for this to be continued. Ultimately, it is up to this board. This agreement, the mayor does not have the authority, the EDIC or the planning department does not have the authority to change your mind. What I expect to have happen is that Jim Cardell will be here and he'll speak in favor of this 1 year agreement that does allow the carnival for the calendar year 2026, does allow the fire department to still park there, does require regular meetings with the owner and an independent real estate marketer to try to make sure that this property is actively being marketed. We will be checking, make sure there's 500 vehicles. The fire department has a drone. They're right next door. And we can make a phone call. Paul and I have done that they put that drone right up, and with AI, if they take a picture of the parking lot, AI will give you an exact figure how many cars in there within minutes. But this was an agreement that the mayor and the EDIC director negotiated directly with the manager, Mr. Patsios, with some involvement from the attorney from Demoulas.
So just a quick question. I know originally the whole area was developed, where Market Basket is now, under a special permit, correct? And there was some language with that. We also adopted new zoning for the property. And so I assume we need to grant this based on that new zoning.
This was part of the thought about asking the court to remand it back. So it would date back to the original filing, which was under the last zone ordinance, which does allow use variances.
Okay.
If this was a brand new application, as opposed to a remand, the hands would be tied, and to the extent that the board is willing to look at this again and when it's under a different light. And again, the court is not saying that you are required to change your decision. I think that you can expect that EDIC and perhaps the planning department will, and the mayor's office may issue some letters saying the reasons why they think this is in the best interest of the city on a one-year basis. And I fully expect that to happen, but ultimately it's this board's decision how they want to vote.
I'd be interested in seeing that agreement and both parties being in agreement, what the language is.
Like,
organized. And then that may be submitted as part of the public record of.
Yeah. Besides the letters, the MOU itself.
Right. Just so we can refer to.
Well, I'll send that up tonight. First, we have it in service tomorrow, so the city hall's closed. But
I got one with me, I think.
I think it should be advertised just for like at least one about it, but there may be more once they get word of it.
I think the public needs to be aware of the terms of the MOU, and again.
I can give you
and it has a sunset date, what that sunset date is for the agreement.
Yeah.
It has all the signatures. To Attorney Lamont's point, the application was filed June 3rd. The new zone ordinance was advertised June 9th. I won't say that was a mere coincidence, but the old ordinance allows use variances. The old ordinance didn't prohibit non-accessory parking. So it would be determined, I believe, under the old ordinance. And you're correct at that time, too. The map, this parcel's been in 4 different zones over maybe 10 years.
Right.
Yeah. But I think everybody understood that in the interim, it made sense to find a path forward that served the municipal purposes as well as the private owners first.
Yeah. I think with the special permit involvement, I think it did involve that type of discussion and negotiation. So that's appreciated personally, but I think this board probably appreciates that as well.
Any other questions for Attorney Lamana, Attorney Vitale, before we wrap up? So we can expect it next meeting, November 18th.
Correct.
Yeah, we advertise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give all about his notice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you need that back?
Yeah, you can keep it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a signed copy.
And I'll send it out.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
This is going to the next meeting?
Yes. No other business at hand. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
all right, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Have a good night to both.
Have a good night, everybody.
Call the meeting to order. Commissioner Allenson, Commissioner Colucci,
Present.
Commissioner Grace,
Present.
Commissioner Lozzi,
Here.
Commissioner Solana,
Solana,
sorry.
That's fine. That's right. Here. Minutes of the previous meeting. Have people had a chance to take a look at them? Does anyone want to make a motion? Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. In your packet, you'll see project updates from the wastewater treatment plants. I assume you've had a chance to look at them. Does anyone have any comments that they would like to make? Is there anybody here from the wastewater treatment plant? Doesn't seem like it. Nope. Okay. Water treatment plants, Matt?
Clean Water and Soil Commission
is in compliance with all federal and state drinking water regulations. Capacity of the reservoir was at 58.5% as of September 30th. Average for this time of year is around 63.1%. Month of September had 3.7 inches of rain. The average is 3.81. That's about it. I included a memo, a capacity memo in your packet so you can get a little bit more information, see where the reservoirs are at.
Where do you take the precipitation reading?
At the treatment plant.
At the plant itself? Okay. And we're doing no outside watering, or what's our current?
Yeah, we're still level 2. The drought task force meets on Wednesday.
Okay.
So there should be an update then, but with a dry August, it's still probably going to be in the drought
It's
status.
not going to happen much. Yep. Okay. Anyone have questions for Matt?
What does the percentage have to be up to not have a drought?
Well, right now, the drought task force declared a drought for the region.
Yeah.
So for us, that's kind of where we're at now.
58.5. So-
Yes, but the drought task force declared it, so it's the state now has authority over declaring the drought.
Yeah.
58.5 is kind of our reference point.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. CSO update. Looking at the report, seems to be things are kind of moving along. Looks like phase 3 is actually supposed to complete this month, which is great. And phase 4 and 5 are kind of continuing as they go. So that's good to see. Kings Beach update. As you can see in the packet, Apex is continuing to do what they do around IDDE. And there's talk of a upcoming meeting, perhaps, public meeting, perhaps. I don't know the details yet.
Yep. So I believe there is going to be a town hall meeting that has where it has to be announced, but that'll be Eric will be representing Apex.
Nice.
You will touch base with him before then.
Mr. Chairman, can I go?
Sure.
So to date, for this King Beach, the earmark was initially 2.5.
Oh, yeah.
To date, with environmental partners, through the August work that they did, we've been reimbursed from the city for invoices we paid to the tune of $894,343. BMC Corp to date, we've invoiced and we've received reimbursements from them, from the city, to the tune of $632,308. So all total, $1,526,651. Mike Bertino told me that all funds are exhausted from the earmark, and that no further invoices would be paid. So I know, obviously Eric's not here, but they had a September schedule. I'm assuming they definitely had an October schedule.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Patino didn't give me he didn't elaborate any further.
Okay.
Other than to say, when I submitted some invoices about 3 weeks ago, we got 30 days to get any other invoices in. Once you're off.
Okay. So if we continue this, we just have to pay for, we'll have to pay for it ourselves.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah, okay. Great. Anything else on Kings Beach? All right. Under business, we have the aqueous film forming foam settlement agreement with 3M. Sam or Ryan, are you
Yeah,
your hand on that one?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So it was in your packet, the total award. First of all, take a step back. We got approached by the law firm, well, had to be well over a year ago, if we would want to be part of the class action suit. Matt could probably speak a little bit more specifically to the PFAS in the water. That being said, so we got involved. It was no risk to us. So all the way through We had zero idea what kind of money would be coming, if anything. So this was just, the law firm was doing their thing. So when things started getting a little bit more progressing towards the end, we had to go through a series of how do we want the money. Do we want paid back over 8 years, or we want lump sum, things like that, still not knowing anything about what the total award would be. So then we got the package. So the first check came in at $365,659, but more importantly, the award total was that 3.7, basically 3.8 million. The attorney's fees were taken just about $1 million, off the top, which should net out for the commission from this award with 3M to $2,842,418. The general bond resolution says that all monies that the commission collects, either through water and sewer revenue, miscellaneous revenue, or the like, has to go into our depository and then has to be transferred monthly to our revenue account. From our revenue account, money moves around, most specifically, every month, there's money that's put aside for our regular construction bond debt and our SRF, state revolving fund debt. I wanted our bond counsel to review the settlement agreement because we were hoping that this money would be kept outside of what they call the waterfall, where all the monies have to go in for that. That was the fourth page of the package. So they did believe that a separate fund could be set up, so it didn't have to go into this general fund. So for reason
it. We ended it.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the policy subcommittee for October 30th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Present.
Member Reed?
Present.
Member Sadowite? Present.
All right, so first on the agenda tonight is a new policy that's being proposed, policy IHAIA, and it's the middle school pathway exploration policy. So I believe Attorney Gallo, are you, and yes, and Dr. Gardner, you guys are going to walk us through this one. So welcome, thank you for coming tonight.
So, good evening, Subcommittee Chairperson Dugan, Subcommittee members Satterwhite and Reed, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Chair, members of the school committee as a whole, Superintendent Cohen, and members of the administration. For the record, Lynn Public Schools Compliance Officer Charlie Gallo. We have 4 items for policy sub tonight, and Dr. Shannon Gardner, the Executive Director of Innovation and Grants Management, is here with me for the first of those 4. So the first of those 4 is a DESE required policy for middle school pathway exploration. I want to mention that this group of 4 policies tonight is the final round of a number of policies that we have planned out starting back in June with Chairperson Dugan. And so I thank Chairperson Dugan for his partnership over those number of months, and it has been a busy time, and this would, yes, so. Yes. So without further ado, this is the middle school pathway exploration policy. This is a notice that came out from DESE on September 22nd, and it said, here's a list of districts that are required to have a middle school pathway exploration policy, and you're required to have that by November 1st, and Lynn was on the list because we have LVTI. Now, LVTI, as you know, is a real treasure for Lynn. We have a Voc Tech school with CTE programs open to our Lynn residents. And so this sounds like we're moving at a fast clip, and we are. But actually for Lynn, unlike some other districts, we're not starting from scratch so much as codifying policies that typically exist anyway at the middle school in Lynn, with one exception, and that is the new provision, which is DESE required for tours of LVTI during the day by middle school students. And that's a DESE requirement that's not going to be easy, but I'll submit to you it's a really good thing and an equitable thing. You know, after hours can be tough for families. Families are busy. At the middle school level, kids are working. I know I was working by 8th grade. I know others at the table were as well. And so we'll share some slides to take you through how this policy will work. First, thanking the team that worked together on it. Superintendent Cohen, Fred Gallo, Donna Doucette, Marissa Angeli from Innovation and Grants, Lauren Walsh, my colleague in compliance, and then at the end added on 2 guidance counselors, Joanna Smith from LVTI and John Gore from a middle school lens. This is the regulation that was approved by Bessie over the summer, and just wanted you to have that for your records. And I'm going to break it down for you. I also wanted you to have for your records a link to DESE's guidance on this policy. And rather than go through that guidance, it's about 5 pages long, or through that regulation in great detail, I wanted to just bullet the elements of the policy for you. And that is, what are the CTE options that exist? How will the middle schools collaborate with the CTE school to inform middle school students of those options? And how will the middle school provide tours during regular middle school hours? And here in Lynn, with a focus on opportunity and equity and access, we're going to do it without charge to the students during the school day, and it's not going to be counted as an absence. There are some record-keeping provisions and some provisions around MyCap that Dr. Gardner will share with you. DESE put out a model policy which helped us prepare this, and MAVA, which is the Mass Association of Vocational Administrators, put out a model policy as well that Fred Gallo shared with the team. And here's what we did. Superintendent Cohen, Principal Gallo, and the members mentioned from Compliance and Innovation got together, reviewed thoroughly the regulations, the guidances, the model policies. Dr. Gardner and I then broke off into a smaller group and attended a DESE technical assistance webinar. We did some drafting on our own before bringing it back to the full team, adding at that time guidance counselors Smith and Gore. Tonight, we are presenting, and Dr. Gardner will go through that draft policy. If you approve of it, it will be submitted tomorrow to DESE through the CHAMP system, and those are the timeline and processes and steps. You have a copy of the proposed policy as a standalone document in your packet. It's also, though, within this PowerPoint, and I'm going to hand over to Dr. Gardner to go through it. If there are any questions, I'm happy to pause for that as well.
Okay, Charlie really did cover the main points of this policy, but just to review quickly again, the reason for the overview provides the reason that we want to extend more communication and make sure everyone is well informed about their choice to attend LVTI. The policy gives the pathway options of the 19 programs available to students. There's a middle school career exploration component, and that's where the MyCap comes in. It's a structured process that helps students explore their interests, skills, and values starting in middle school. And at some point, there is also a high school choices lesson that has already happened this year so that students could learn about all of the high schools that are available to them. And part of this policy is that all middle schools within LPS will actively collaborate with LVTI to inform students about the CTE vocational opportunities available to them. And that's through awareness raising that will provide students with information about career technical education programs and careers on site at their middle schools, which we do through the MyCap, through mail and email, through inclusion on LPS websites by October 15th of each school year. So all of our websites were updated to match this timeline. On-campus assemblies, all middle school students will have the opportunity to attend assemblies on campus at their middle schools hosted by LVTI. These events will provide students with information about CTE programs and the application process. So at middle schools over the last few weeks, LVTI, Frederick Douglass, and CASA have all had information sharing events at the schools. And then again, as Charlie said, school tours will be provided and information sharing. This is just about sharing, middle school sharing information of names and addresses and email addresses of all enrolled in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. Okay. Maintenance of records. Middle schools will maintain a record of all on-site presentations, assemblies, and student tours pursuant to this policy so that we can be prepared to show that we're implementing this policy. And then we attach the MyCap scope and sequence so you can get a sense of what students are learning in their career and academic plans They have those about twice a month, and it goes through a whole just interesting sequence to help them learn about the options available to them and learn about what they are interested in and what they want to do.
And so that's our presentation for this proposed new policy, which is DESE required, but happy to answer any questions that there might be on it, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you for the presentations. Any questions? Questions? Yeah, Member Castellanos.
I think just earlier in the presentation, the tours, could you kind of talk about what that's going to look like? How does that, how's it going to get baked into the day, time-wise? Like, I don't know what.
So
maybe visually, can you just walk me through that?
Yep. So it's required that all students at the middle school level by the state regs now have an opportunity to tour. So that what this would look like would be an advanced sign-up, a time to tour during the school day, probably once during your middle school career during the school day. And for students who start out at a middle school in Lynn, probably going to be a 6th or 7th grade, because by the time you get to 8th grade, you know, it may be a bit late for that. So we're going to try to do that early. There's an opportunity potentially we'll seek grant funding to cover those costs, but the ultimate, you know, thing in terms of equity is that you know, no matter what, not a cost to the student, not an absence for the student. This is about exposing every student who wants to be exposed or interested in exploring, as the name would have it, during their regular school day, CTE and Voc Tech programs.
And transportation, we would range it like a field trip.
Exactly
Something
right.
like that's
Through our vendor, exactly right. Official bus, all of that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Castellanos.
Make a motion to move proposed new policy IHAIA to the committee of the whole, full committee.
Second. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So that's one down. All right. The second one is the proposed IHBGR homeschooling. So we're removing part of that. That's the proposal. So again, Attorney Gallo is going to talk us through that one.
Thank you. So this is a cleanup matter, starting with Mayor Nicholson, when you, Mayor, were chairperson of the policy subcommittee, and then continuing through Chairperson Dugan. In partnership with Mass Association of School Committees, you both and the members around the table worked hard and ultimately brought us down to a policy manual that looks much more like policy than procedure, and ultimately brought us from close to 400 quote-unquote policies to about 275 or so nowadays. There's not much that slipped through the cracks. However, we did find one thing, and so since I was here anyway, thought I would invite the committee to deal with that. Policy IHBG is the homeschool policy. There is no proposal to change that here. Tagged on to IHBG were a number of procedural policies that were revoked through the mask process, but one of them I discovered recently wasn't, and that is IHGB-R, and it is the processes and the steps and the procedure, not at all policy, the mechanics of requesting homeschooling. It's not necessary as it's procedure, not policy, and since I was here anyway, thought that I would just quickly let the committee know that that exists and invite you to do a potential motion to revoke IHGB-R as a cleanup matter.
Questions or comments on that one? All right. Seeing none, we need a motion.
I'll make the motion to revoke policy IHBG-R and move that to the full committee.
Second. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and then our third order of business is a proposed revision to policy IKF, which is our graduation requirement.
Bless you.
Attorney Attorney Gallo is also going to walk us through that one. So Attorney Gallo.
Thank you, Chairperson Dugan. Back on October 9th, I sat in this seat, and you did a few things on that night. We reviewed together the MassCore framework. MassCore is recommendations for graduation to ensure a certain level of rigor in Massachusetts. We reviewed DESE's summertime, July 2025 competency determination guidance. That is, how do the graduation suggestions in MassCore marry with post-MCAS competency determination? How do we ensure, since there's no more statewide standardized test as a graduation requirement, that students have mastered the skills and are competent in the skills that they need to be? So you voted to revise LPS policy IKF and to adopt a new policy IKFE. That's what happened on October 9th. I want to just refresh also on the MassCore framework and DESE provision around science. The MassCore framework is 3 units of lab-based science. The DESE provision for competency determination is 1 year of any of the following: bio, physics, chemistry, or technology and engineering. And so what IKF could have said was that we have 3 years of lab-based science, technology, and engineering that must include the equivalent of 1 year of any of the following: biophysics, chem, or technology and engineering, and may include computer science that aligns to the digital literacy standards. That's what IKF could have said. Instead, the IKF that was put before you on 10-9 included a rigor requirement over and above. And that requirement was that 2 of the 3 years include bio and chem. All right. On October 9th, I outlined that there were only a couple substantive changes to the existing graduation requirements policy. One was the introduction for class of 2027 that U.S. history and world history must both be taken. That's a DESE requirement. It's not optional. Another change was grandfathering 1 year of the arts based on feedback that if we required the arts out of the gate, that was tough for especially upperclassmen to fit in at this time. And I told you that for reasons of rigor, we were recommending both bio and chem be included over and above CD, over and above MassCore. Essentially, the way that this played out is that there was a large team that worked on this process. At the end of that process, towards the end, that suggestion came from the former superintendent. We checked in with special education at that time because we wanted to be sure we were not setting the standard so high that certain IEP students could not meet it. Special education told us that as long as there's an exception for applied chemistry, we're okay with it, and we put forward that policy proposal to you, and you adopted it on October 9th. I'm coming tonight with some humility to ask to dial back to what it could have been, and the reason is this. After October 9th, we got right to work, and that provision became immediately problematic because as it now stands, there are non-IEP students who don't take chemistry. Chemistry is heavy for math, and so you might be a gen ed kid, and this may be a barrier to your graduation. This provision will impact their ability to graduate. The MassCore recommendation is 3 years of lab-based science. The DESE CD requirement is 1 of 3 years to be bio or chem or physics or technology or engineering. Notwithstanding the prior superintendent's recommendation as to rigor, MassCore is intended to be rigorous. This is over and above MassCore, over and above DESE CD, over and above the Mass Association of School Committees models, and unlike we have more recently discovered other similar and nearby districts. Worcester, Lawrence, and Swampscott have language like I'm suggesting we dial back to now. The only district I could find that had such specificity as to a particular science course was Salem, and their standard was not even as high as ours. Theirs was bio only. Ours is bio and chem. So this is, I would suggest to you, beyond sort of a reasonable rigor requirement, and so I have a proposed motion for you to dial back a little bit on that. I do want to update you on next steps with the statewide graduation council, if I could, but I'll pause if there are any votes on the, any questions on the science aspect before I do that, and I do have a proposed motion prepared for you, if the board is in agreement.
Any questions from the committee as to what was just presented? Okay. Sounds like we're good.
So the amended IKF, if you vote that way tonight, will be submitted to DESE. Unless DESE, for some reason, were to reject or request suggestions. I told you on October 9th I would be back at this table. I think I know when I'll be back at this table now, because there was a BESE meeting, the state school committee essentially, last week. And at the BESE meeting, Secretary Tutwiler stated that there will be a final recommendation at the state level that will come out, or that is due, was his word, in June of this year. And so here's what I expect if I had a crystal ball. June, a final recommendation, a summertime regulation change, and then I'm probably back here over the summer with the new graduation requirements policy, and I'll give you a preview of what I think, based on, I've been paying close attention to state level things and what I think is going to happen. I think Mass Core is going to become more flexible with different pathways and different alternatives for individual students, but I also think there are going to be additional requirements that are new and that make sense, frankly. There may be a civics requirement. There may be a financial literacy requirement. Those things may be new in Mass Core. There may be within Mass Core not just a focus on classes and curriculum, but also career readiness and college readiness provisions around FAFSA and MAFSA and MyCap. While there will not be MCAS per se, the initial draft says that there will be end-of-course assessments that are, quote, designed, administered, and scored by the state, promoting a uniform standard across Massachusetts. And so what that says to me is that CD, competency determination, may become a moot point, and that we may move to a statewide final exam, essentially, in each course. In addition to that, there is talk about districts being allowed to have their own capstone or portfolio projects, so that there's some middle ground between what we have now, which is somewhat chaotic statewide, and MCAS. So that's what's happening now. That being said, back to the real reason we're here and the potential amendment. I have on your screen a potential amendment to dial back science a little bit in the way that we've talked about, but I'm happy to answer any questions first, either about science or about the statewide graduation stuff that is very current and I'm paying close attention to.
Any questions about that? Yeah, Member Castellanos.
Thank you, Attorney Gallo. Could you, so the trends that you're seeing, is there any way to get that information to us? It'd be nice to have that, or even the sources of where you're looking, because it'd be nice to kind of keep an eye on. I would like to progress monitor that, because I'm hearing so many different things in the pipeline, and it's overwhelming. So it'd be nice to have your skill set to shift through where I should be looking, or all of us honestly should be looking.
Yeah, so I appreciate the thoughtful suggestion and question, Member Castellanos. I joked to Superintendent Cohen earlier today that on this topic, I'm a little bit crazy right now. I had the BESE meeting while I was working going on in the background and listening to it, and so there's that kind of thing happening. But there was something called a draft preliminary recommendation that came out. It was about a 1.5 pager that I will forward, if I may, through Mary Jules to the committee so that you have that. I believe there's going to be another preliminary recommendation that comes out in early November in writing, and I'll keep an eye out for that and do the same. And then I don't know what will come out after that, but sometime in June, so I will be happy to do that.
Well, I appreciate that. Just keep us in the loop so we're prepared for that too, because it'd be nice to be as proactive as possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments for Attorney Gallo? Okay.
And so I've prepared to help, with the potential amendment if the committee does wish to consider going back to alignment with Mass Core and with the state regulations, that this would be a potential amendment to the graduation requirements policy, IKF, to strike the existing 3 bullet points under the equivalent of 3 years of science, technology, and engineering, and replace with the 2 bullet points that you see on the screen. And so I've prepared that, should a committee member wish to move in that direction.
Do I got to read that whole thing? Or can I just, all right, fine. I was being serious. Make a motion to move this amendment regarding the graduation policy IKF to the full committee, strike the existing 3 bullet points under the equivalent of 3 years of lab-based science, technology, and/or engineering, and replace with the following 2 bullet points. Must include the equivalent of 1 year of the following to be taken in grades 9 to 12, biology, physics, chemistry, or technology-engineering. May include the equivalent of 1 year of computer science that includes rigorous scientific concepts and aligns with digital literacy and computer science standards for a laboratory science course as determined by the Lynn Public Schools.
So moved.
Good reading.
Second. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
All right. All right, and then finally, is a discussion regarding United States visas and what's changed at the federal level there. Because lots has changed, which is going to affect what's going on in Lynn as well. So, Gallo, again, as you so very wisely do, if you could guide us through this one.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Dugan. So on June 12th, there was a school committee vote to refer future use of visas to the policy subcommittee, which is why we are here tonight. I have to tell you that when this was assigned to me sometime after that vote, I had to do some learning on my own. I didn't know a great deal about this topic, and I don't presume folks around the table may or may not either. And so I wanted to share with you what H-1B visas are. They are temporary non-immigrant visas. By temporary, we mean there's a 3-year at the outset visa period, and you can renew once for a total of 6 years. The intent of these visas is to bring highly educated foreign professionals to work in areas in the United States where we may not have those highly trained professionals. They have to be in a specialty occupation, and there's no exhaustive list, but I've put on the slide for you some common ones that we see, and within that you can see professors and teachers are there. So that's a little bit about what an H-1B visa is. There's a cap on the number of them. So there are 65,000 per year total for applicants who have a bachelor's degree, plus another 20,000 on top of that for applicants who have a master's degree. There are some interesting provisions along with them. If the H-1B visa employees employment is terminated for any reason, the employer has to provide reasonable costs, expenses to return that individual to their country. That's not new, but just to point it out. And as I mentioned, this is a max 6-year deal. For each of these, there's a registration. There is a minimal fee of a few $100 initially for that registration, but then beyond that, there is a fee that has increased recently, and I'm going to talk about that. On September 19th in 2025, there was a proclamation from President Trump, which said that applications for new visas needed to be accompanied by a payment of $100,000, and I am quoting that, a payment of $100,000 on top of the application fee of a few $100s. That is for new visas, not renewals, but that is for new visas. Okay. This is just a headline, and there are many that you could find, but basically that fee is making new visas unaffordable in many sectors, certainly public education and public sectors, and I would venture to guess that outside of the tech sector, in most places, going to be unaffordable. But there is some guidance that came out from the Department of Homeland Security in the past couple of weeks, which says that this new fee is not applicable for existing visa holders. So this is prospective new. And under the presidential order, it's going to last for the next year. and then there'll be a decision in a year as to whether he's going to renew that or not. Maybe it'll be $200,000, maybe it'll be $200, we don't know. But that's the lay of the land right now. In addition to what I'm going to call filing fees, there is preparation fee, just so you know, on this. This is the fee schedule of the entity that we have used to prepare these as of 2024. I don't know if they may update it, but essentially it's a $2,300 base plus various other fees on top of that that get us close to $5,000. And then if we need to expedite for any reason, we get closer to $9,000 total. So you have that fee schedule in your materials. I did some initial policy research, and the initial policy research was that there's not a mask model policy on this. Similar and nearby districts is what I usually look at, as you know, for my presentations. And so these are similar and nearby districts that we looked at sort of randomly on this. None of them have a codified policy on this. And so I didn't come tonight with a prepared policy. Instead, I wanted to do some information sharing, give you something to think about, and would suggest that if you did want to do a policy on this, because it would be one that we would do from scratch, we would really need to be careful in terms of the labor piece, and I've talked to Attorney Greenspan about this, in terms of the immigration piece, in terms of collaborating with our friends in the LTU, in terms of ensuring that we're not stuck in a place where we're obligated to apply for a visa if the cap has already been met, or if for some other reason, perhaps finances, we can't afford to do so. And so that is what I have for you on this subject. Uncharacteristically, I don't have a proposed policy for you on this so much as just food for thought, and happy to answer any questions that you have.
Member Reed.
Thank you, Attorney Gallo, for that. Just trying to understand the previously issued visas. So how long is a visa for? It's 1 year?
So it's initial is 3 year.
Okay.
You can do one renewal for another 3 years, so max 6.
So if somebody, like we renewed it last year, they're still good for another 2 years without any consequences?
Correct. And under the current guidance, we could renew, and there was a vote to renew a couple.
Yes.
That those are not subject to that higher fee. This is prospective.
So any new person is this six-figure amount?
Correct.
Okay, I think I had one more question, sorry. All right, I'm good, thank you. Yeah. Member Dugan.
So I guess, would it be beneficial for us, Attorney Gallo, to maybe kind of look at this as a case-by-case type of thing? Is that what you're sort of suggesting?
So that's what other districts, in the absence of a policy, would be doing. And that would allow you to consider the particular needs of the district at that time, the cost at the time, which we're seeing fluctuate, and also whether the cap has been met, for example. That 65,000 visa cap has been met, for example, for this year. So you wouldn't want a policy that said you had to do this. If the cap were met, it would need to be really carefully written. So I don't have a recommendation one way or another, so much as wanted to you to know all of the things at play here and you know, perhaps sleep on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Member Reed.
Yeah, if I'm recalling correctly, I think a lot of us thought it would have made sense to have a policy, right? I'm trying to read that. I think we were all going to try to have like a specific threshold, but obviously it doesn't seem like that's the right move right now, so, yeah.
And if I could just reply to that, and in you know, fairness to members of the community who spoke up that night and members of the school committee that night, that the lay of the land is significantly different today than it was at that time.
Sure.
So.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? All right. Seeing no other questions or comments, and also noting that as our last order of business, for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Okay, adjourned.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Something dropped.
Opportunity for citizens to express their views on matters of concern to the school committee. The sessions are not designed to encourage debate or lengthy exchange of views, but are to have the committee understand numerous points of view. The committee would appreciate speakers keeping their presentation to 3 minutes. In order to accommodate as many people as time permits, the chair reserves the right to limit the number of speakers on the same topic to 3. All speakers must be at least 18 years of age or enrolled in high school in Lynn Public Schools District and having discussed their views with a student government representative. The chair reserves the right to rule the speaker out of order if they feel that the speaker's comments are personal in nature. If a speaker's comments are directed at a school committee member or a member of school administration in attendance, that member, through the chair, may address the individual. Is there anybody here for open mic? Anyone for open mic? Last call for open mic, and we will close the open mic session and call to order the 16th regular meeting of the school committee. Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Present.
Member Dugan?
Present.
Member Gately?
Present.
Member Pena? Absent. Member Reed? Member Satterwhite? Present. Mayor Nicholson?
Present. For those who are able, please rise for a salute to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence. Please remain standing in memory of Marie Malaya, former nurse, passed away October 13th, 2025. Thank you. Next item is the minutes.
Motion to accept the policy subcommittee on October 9th, 2025. A motion to accept the curriculum subcommittee on October 9th, 2025. The 15th regular meeting on October 9th, 2025, and the first special meeting on October 16th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's have it. Member Dugan, any subcommittee votes?
Yes, so we have, we'll have to take them in order. There are 3 that we'll need to vote on. The first is the middle school pathway exploration policy, and the heading is IHAIA. So we need to vote on that.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena? Absent. Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite? Yes. Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
Okay, and then the next thing we had was a proposed revocation of IHBG-R, which is part of our homeschooling policy that seemed a little more procedural than policy.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena? Absent. Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite? Yes. Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
All right, and then finally, we had a proposed revision to our graduation requirements, policy IKF. So we need to vote on that.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena? Absent. Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes. Next, we have presentations, teacher evaluation.
Thank you. Good evening, school committee members. Thank you for the opportunity to share some information about the evaluation cycle and some updates for this school year. I'd like to publicly thank Deb Morrell, Director of Educator Quality in the Human Resource Department, who worked with me to create this presentation. So we have two objectives for tonight for this presentation. First, I would like to provide you with an overview of the educator evaluation system, and secondly, an overview of the changes for the 25-26 school year for both teachers and paraprofessionals. This is a graphic from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and as you can see, this is a 5-step cycle. And the overall goal of this entire evaluation process is for it to be collaborative and to have a focus on continued learning. Each educator is an active participant in this process. Step 1 is a self-assessment where teachers review student data, and an assessment against the practice where they judge themselves with regard to performance against the standards. Then they create goals which are aligned to the district goals. They implement a plan, an action plan, in order to try to meet those goals. Midway through the cycle, we formatively assess how it's going, and then we complete a summative assessment. This has been the process since 2012 in the district. So some updates for tonight. With the new Lynn Teacher Union contract and negotiations last spring, changes were made in the following areas. There were alterations to the timeline when teachers complete each step in the process. A new rubric was adopted that was created by DESE in 2024. We collaborated with LTU to identify new priority elements to focus on, which I'll go through. And one of the requirements was that all staff must be trained in this new evaluation process, and that includes administrators, teachers, paraprofessionals. So a team worked to update the evaluation PowerPoint training that was presented to all educators in the fall. Like I said, this is the new timeline where dates were altered based on feedback from the committee members. So the first step was that training for teachers that was completed by October 15th. And then the next step in the process is that self-assessment and goal-setting process that I talked about, which is due November 1st. So a lot of teachers are working on that right now. This is a link to the, in a screenshot of the classroom teacher rubric at a glance. So we were using the 2025 rubric, and again, this one was adopted by DESE in 2024, and then by us this year. This is a little bit of a shift for evaluators and educators. We still have the same 4 standards: curriculum planning and assessment, teaching all students, family and community engagement, and professional culture. Those did not change, but some of the indicators and elements under the standards did change. This is an example of one of the indicators under Standard 1, 1A, which is curriculum and planning. And under this one indicator, there are 3 different elements: subject matter knowledge, knowledge of students, and curriculum literacy. This is just a sample. So the committee who met on the evaluation process consisted of teachers, Lynn Teachers Union members, teachers and paras, principals, central office staff. They came together and came to a consensus on 7 priority indicators. There are 2 elements under Standard 1, curriculum planning and assessment, 2 under Standard 2, teaching all students, 1 under Standard 3, which is family engagement, and 2 under professional culture. So this is our first priority element. This is curriculum literacy. This is one that we landed on in Standard 1. Sorry about that. I use the description for proficiency. I use the language of proficiency from the rubric for all of the priority elements. With administrators and the new training that Deb Morell facilitates, they created student and teacher look-fors with regard to each of the priority elements, and that is shown on that chart paper on this slide. The second priority element is adjustment to practice, where teachers really utilize data to adjust and inform their practice to support students. In a recent principal meeting, we started brainstorming evidence teachers could submit for their summative or formative evaluation. So that's what's listed on that chart paper right there. Our third priority element is inclusive instruction. So we are supporting teachers in this work through professional development opportunities such as QTEL, quality teaching for English learners, IEP classes, and this really focuses around MTSS. Our next element is collaborative learning, where students are interacting with one another in the classroom. This is a picture of some of our Skills USA students with the commissioner, Pedro Martinez, and some of you were able to be at that visit as well at LVTI earlier this month. Next priority element under Standard 3 is collaboration on student learning and well-being. Previously, our old element was two-way communication with families. This is more all-encompassing and speaks to what you will hear in Superintendent Cohen's plan for a family and student engagement task force to create a FACE plan. Our next element in Standard 4 is a reflection and growth. Although hard to read, this is a screenshot of current PD offerings that we have in LPS right now. And our final element is professional responsibilities, which really, I believe, speaks for itself. And I did talk about a new paraprofessional evaluation tool as well. This is a shift from our old tool and focuses on job performance, interpersonal relationships with students and staff, and professional responsibilities. All paras have been trained in this new tool, and again, this was a collaborative effort with that committee that I mentioned in the spring. And finally, we've revamped, as I said, our training for educators to align the new model DESE rubric and the Lynn Public Schools updated timeline. So all teachers in all buildings received this training prior to October 15th. Questions? I know that was a lot of information.
Member Dugan, Member Reed.
All right. Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Luke. That was very thorough. Just a couple of clarifying questions. So in priority standard under curriculum literacy, it mentions the teacher's use of supplemental resources. You know, I'm assuming for tier 2 instruction, or so. Are those things that the teachers are just asked to get them to tell? Like, where do those come from, those supplemental resources?
So we have a bank of resources. There are different resources, like, for example, in illustrative math, there's supplemental resources that they have. But we're highlighting those too in our MTSS process with our tier 2 resources and our tier 3 resources and supports as well.
Thank you. And then under inclusive instruction, so if you were in a walkthrough, what would you be looking for, like, for teachers to have posted with, like, language goals, content goals, things of that nature? So that just kind of caught my attention. I was looking through it earlier.
So we actually did some of that work, like I said, with the principals.
Okay.
So providing examples of the supports that they're using. So potentially we might see use of assistive technology with a special education student. We might see some scaffold instructional materials, such as like a graphic organizer for one of our multilingual learners. We might see choice or menu boards, like UDL type of things, student-created projects, rubrics, different exit tickets, things like that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Member Reed, Member Gately.
Thank you for the presentation, very helpful. It might be a little out of the scope of this exact presentation, but I know with some of the restructuring of department heads that happened in the budget, there were some talks about how to more efficiently manage caseloads of evaluators themselves. Have we changed anything on that regard, or are we thinking about it, or?
So we did adopt some different language with regard to evaluators at the district level as well. So having some of our assistant directors of curriculum and instruction potentially help out with some of the observations that have to be completed
Yeah.
with our teachers. Yeah.
So I think traditionally it's been sort of that department head has observed a lot of those people. I remember having a conversation with the previous deputies, and they said they were thinking about sort of having department heads or assistant curriculum directors observing across different subject content areas. Is that the case, or do we know? No?
No, that's not the case.
Okay.
They still are content focused.
Okay.
Given the lower enrollment this fall, the department heads have been able to free up and support new teachers in the classrooms, but it is something that we're going to be looking at in terms
Sure.
of going forward for next year,
Sure.
what the org will look
Okay.
like.
Yeah, I think these conversations might have been happening when we thought the picture was a little more bleak at the time, too. So I don't, but thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Member Gailey.
I'm just wondering, at the beginning of the year, I vaguely remember something about math resources were not available for teachers. How is that going to impact them in this evaluation process? And are they now able to have all the resources that they need to be able to implement the curriculums? I mean, where are we with that? Because there was a loss. I just heard a lot about no math stuff, none of this, none of that, so.
There was a delay,
Okay,
but
delay.
they're back, yeah. So that order had already come out. You know, they put it in and it's already underway, but there was a delay.
So will that affect their evaluation?
No, teachers would not be, the evaluation is about the practice of the
Yes.
teacher, right? So our job is to support teachers in the work that they do. Yeah.
So your job would be?
Our job is to support a teacher in creating resources if resources aren't there, but they wouldn't be penalized for resources not being there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very good clarifying.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Oh,
and for
thank
the
you.
update.
Thank you.
Great. Next, we have a field trip request. What's the recommendation of the superintendent?
Yes, we absolutely recommend that the LVTI robotics competition occur in Alton, New Hampshire.
Great.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we need to appoint Molly Cohen to the North Shore Education Consortium for this year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena? Absent. Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Sadowite? Yes. Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Next, we are canceling the school committee meetings that would fall on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we are proposing to reschedule the 19th regular meeting on December 11th in order to, and then meet instead on December 18th.
So moved.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Yep. Any discussion? All right. Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena? Absent. Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Sadowite? Yes. Mayor Nicholson?
Yes. So we have the superintendent's entry plan.
Okay. See the mirror? Oh, you just moved me. That's okay.
State House, so many options. Sucks. Always so hard when you're in our world. Chad likes pizza. My New Year's. Like, I'm gonna work. Let's walk around. We should do a baby. We need a pocket bath. I go up there, slow down the weather. Yeah, I do the strap. I know. Do like, how's it? But that's too cold now. I know. The brain particles moving here, not gonna process and unwinding things.
The good news is it's a very brief presentation.
Very solid, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make up all this time.
I can imagine that. No, I would love to.
Great.
I just have to, oh, you want it?
Yeah, do you mind?
We got awkward. Basketball's a little hotter too. Football.
Or you could do it. You could do it.
Boys were nicer than me.
Yeah.
Had them all rallied. Everyone.
Sorry, Howard.
They had me in there like I was. I'm like, okay.
I was gonna do the. I mean, you can't really make it up.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different animal. Ballpark, right? It's a whole different experience, right? It's like all new stadium, right? New car, new features. Like I'm not. Wow. It's comfortable. Ride's nice. I try to do coffee with candidates, but no one shows up. It's a couple of
Wolf coffee sometime.
always friends and family, though. You know? I get phone calls after. So I couldn't make it to coffee, but I wanted to talk.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I am going to go at double speed to make up for some lost time there. I'm very excited to be here and share my entry plan. So, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, school committee members. Thank you to my colleagues and to my principals out there, my teachers, my families, my students. I'm very excited to discuss this entry plan. This is a living document, and I am looking for feedback. So tonight, it is all about providing the expectations. To create a sense of security during a time of transition, I want to share what the overview of this year can look like. Building a supportive community is at the center of what we do. The focus areas are derived from the district strategic plan and rooted in our core values: inclusivity, shared responsibility, collaborative relationships, high expectations, and inspiring lifelong learning. A stable system encompasses these pillars. As you'll recall, belonging and instruction are two of our priority areas, which are supported by healthy, authentic relationships with everyone in the system. The purpose of this entry plan is to present to you my commitment to continue the great work that we have started in building trusting partnerships by soliciting feedback and incorporating all voices in strengthening instruction. Over the next few months, I will continue to strengthen classroom instruction and build those relationships as I'm listening from all of our stakeholders in the system. Change takes time, and I ask for grace and patience as I listen first, learn from everyone, and lead our district to greater achievement. As a former instructor of English as a foreign language and English as a second language, my philosophy has always been that excellent instruction is the social justice strategy. Our first district strategic plan priority area is strengthening the instructional core with culturally and linguistically responsive practices. These goals have not changed. We are fully committed to increasing the percentage of multilingual learners making progress toward English language proficiency, inclusive classes for students with diverse abilities, student belonging, and the percentage of diverse educators. Stability is determined by those who live in the system. When staff are supported, when families are engaged, when communication is predictable, then people feel secure. Much like Richard Elmore's instructional core, with the teacher, student, and content rotating around the instructional task, so too do staff support, family engagement, and clear communication contribute to school stability. There are two phases to this plan. The first, and perhaps the most important, is listening and learning. In a new role, and one as impactful as superintendent, it will be imperative that I fully listen to understand. Yes, I am in the system and very familiar with the Lynn Public Schools. However, that can lead to biases and blind spots. My job now is to see and hear with a new set of eyes and ears. During this listening tour, I am looking at how well the system practices 4 key areas: feedback, progress monitoring, alignment of professional development, and celebration of innovative approaches. I am deeply committed to prioritizing my time in schools to walk with principals, leveraging our district Look For tool as a means of calibrating how we discuss instructional excellence across the system. Quick, actionable steps to building relationships with staff are to intently listen, anonymously query, and celebrate successes as we see them. Given the strengths and talents of our principals, directors, and teachers, I feel fully prepared to deliver on the district strategic plan's goals. To include more leadership opportunities, I plan to meet with existing cabinets while establishing a principals cabinet where we analyze data and strengthen culturally and linguistically affirming practices. Another area where I can quickly operationalize work that is already underway is to establish and convene a family and community council. Together, we will host conversations and partner with teams doing this important work. What's most important in this endeavor is that we ensure our plans are convenient, accessible, and meaningful to participants. Phase 2 is when we put into action what we learned. This work involves a full team effort on all our parts to actualize the plan. Ideas for establishing voice and involvement. I plan to publish a transparent report sharing the feedback we received, create a staff advisory council to discuss systems decisions, open dialogue about instruction, and add to the human resources calendar with highlights of instructional strengths and successes. Belonging has been a priority in our district and has never been as important as it is now. It will continue to be central to the stabilization of our district. To do so, we will leverage our restorative practices, build staff representation, and recognize excellent practices. Our strategy in Lynn Public Schools has been school-based family engagement, and this is a robust strategy given the strong leadership of our principals and the schools as central community hubs in our neighborhoods. I would like to partner with our members in the field to build a comprehensive district family community engagement plan that supports and celebrates the important work already underway. To reach our ambitious instructional goals, we need to work together with families and community partners around decreasing our chronic absenteeism and providing cohesive learning models that extend beyond the school day. Schools can't do this work alone. In order to continue to make our work transparent, we will continue to publish the monthly superintendent's newsletter. It has a new look tomorrow. And provide quarterly school committee reports about our progress toward our goals. We will regularly track these priorities to improve our outcomes. This week, we wrap up National Principals Month, and I'd like to personally thank all of our principals and principal directors who are truly the heart of the system. Thank you. I'm afraid to give you a sneak peek, but maybe I should, I don't know. I'm going to only leave that up for a hot minute. At some point, I know we have to talk about goals and goals for me and how you'll evaluate me, but let's go back to those principles. Celebrate them instead. But I look forward to your questions, because the idea of this, the idea of this plan is really to gather and then curate all the ideas of all of our members. And so I have shared this plan, and you have a copy of the plan and this presentation with members in our community and already received feedback. So this is like the fourth version of this entry plan. But I do think that we commit to action steps so that there is some predictability in moving forward. So really the feedback is more, how do we do the work? So I'm open.
Yeah, that's great. I'll just add that very helpful, very excited for this, and I'm sure I speak for the whole committee when I say we're happy to support as you run through this entry process. If you have questions or requests of us, and then for the committee, obviously we know how quickly these cycles move in terms of the evaluation cycles, and also just how quickly time goes in terms of the contracts and so on and so forth. So we're going to be needing to making decisions as a district very, very soon. In the grand scheme of things, it's going to go by quickly. So if there's things that you want to see in order to make those decisions, now is a good time to share that feedback with the superintendent, either tonight or and I'm sure you'd be happy to hear from folks directly in the coming weeks as you're implementing this entry plan. So yeah. Member Dugan.
Yeah, I mean, I just, from talking to a lot of staff members, it's just a buzz about what's happening already, so I commend you on that. I also really like that the morale is an important part of what you're doing. You know, just speaking from a teacher perspective, when people are feeling respected and happy at work, the students are going to benefit from that as well, which ultimately is our goal. So I think that's all moving in the right direction, and you know, so I just want to commend you on that too. So not so much questions, but you know, we'll digest this a bit, and I'm sure I'll have some eventually, but so far it looks so good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Superintendent's report?
Yep, superintendent's report
Okay,
next.
here
Yep.
we are. Thank you. I want to extend my gratitude for the warm welcome I have received during this transition. No matter the circumstances, Lynn Public Schools remains focused on our collective commitment to fostering an inclusive and equitable learning environment for every student. Diversity and multilingualism are our superpowers, leveraged in our classrooms where equitable access to rigorous learning creates the conditions for our students to thrive. Excellent instruction is our social justice strategy and equity commitment. This year, the district is making visible culturally and linguistically responsive practices and adopting policies that remove barriers for our students. During this transition period, I will look to build partnerships with families and community organizations to better coordinate our efforts in meeting our students' needs. By working together, we can live our vision of, quote, supporting the intellectual, vocational, academic, and social emotional success for all students. We create equitable conditions for all students to thrive in a global society. Change can be challenging and lead to feelings of uneasiness. I am committed to stabilizing the district by inspiring and encouraging us all to lean into our core values. And I continue to repeat them because this is truly what we need to do in times of transition. Our core values, inclusiveness, shared responsibility, collaborative relationships, high expectations, inspiring lifelong learning. These values will guide us in our collaboration to make important decisions in the best interest of our students and staff. We stand united in our commitment to the following: a core belief that all students can achieve mastery of grade level tasks, a clear instructional vision codified in our district strategic plan, and the conviction that every decision we make must advance equity and excellence. Our instructional priorities are anchored in the 5 intended impacts for the district strategic plan, 24 to 29, and we are committed to the following outcomes. LPS students will possess the academic skills to be globally competitive by meeting and exceeding grade level expectations in reading, math, science, and social studies. LPS students will possess the communication, biliteracy, multilingualism, and social emotional skills to be globally competitive. LPS students will have access to and experience success in a wide range of advanced coursework that prepares them to navigate a rapidly changing world. LPS students, families, and staff will experience the district and their schools as places of inclusion and belonging. LPS will close equity gaps in access and achievement for students who are today furthest from opportunity. That was created during the district strategic plan phase, where all stakeholders had voice in creating that, and we are committed to that. October is a busy month with many events. I have included in the department updates, but I'd like to note a few here. Commissioner Pedro Martinez visited LVTI and was impressed with the level of conversation the students initiated in describing their passion for vocational studies. We expanded PSAT testing to include 8th grade students, providing the necessary preparation for a college entrance exam. Congratulations to our students who displayed their musical and dance abilities and those who received recognition at the Hispanic Heritage Celebration at City Hall last week, and we have a dancer here tonight. Did terrific. Our fall school sport teams are experiencing success, highlighted by the classical volleyball team that finished with an 18-2 regular season record, the best in school history, and the LVTI volleyball team had a terrific 16-3 record. Both teams are hosting the MIAA state tournament matches tonight, and I ran over there at, oh, wait a second, news in, Tech won. Yeah, they just won, so that's really exciting. All right, real news break. Okay, with all the uncertainty surrounding SNAP benefits, we have communicated through our social media channels a list of resources available to anyone in the community who may be faced with food insecurity. We encourage all LPS families and staff to take advantage of these resources if they can be helpful. With November upon us, I would be remiss if I didn't remind us of our civic duty to get out and vote on November 4th. I'd also like to thank Julie Carroll, the Director of Music, the LEHS ROTC, and all of our talented students who honor our veterans by performing at the various Veterans Day performances in and around our city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Seeing no further business.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.